Hey guys, welcome back to Cool Conversations.
Your favorite podcast on ice. And today we have some very special guests, brand new authors of their book, Happily Evans After. Please welcome Ashley and Steven.
So excited to be hanging with you guys.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks for coming out here all the way to Arizona. We're in the Gerber studio.
Thanks for letting us hang out in the Gerber household.
Well, you guys know before we get into it, we have to do an icebreaker, so we'll see you on the ice.
Who's going first? You want to go first? Come on. Oh.
New skates? You don't know what to think, do you?
How do you feel? Yeah? Okay, let's see. Do you want to,
I'll take
Steven, are
Steven.
you a professional?
The blank stare. I was going to step on the ice. Ready?
Okay.
Ready? Let's do it.
Yeah. Whoa.
That's not a beginner.
Can you push off or?
Yeah.
Totally a beginner.
Yes.
I don't have
Are you kidding?
What do you think?
Look at this.
You want to try pushing? Okay, let me show you something. I'm going to teach you how to
Dang,
march.
sorry.
great.
We don't mean to bore you.
So
Holy
when you put your arms
I'm
out,
ready to join the
like they're on a table, and then you can pick up
hockey
your feet
team.
and
I don't know what to join.
Icecapades?
What?
Icecapades,
Yeah.
march. Do you want to do some tricks with your daddy? Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. I'll have you come stand with me, okay?
Check this out. Your daddy can already spin. Can dad spin on 2 feet?
Yes.
Can you spin like this? Let's see.
Are you gonna get? All right. Here we go.
Whoa, wait, hang on. You gotta keep your foot down. But are you supposed to? Hang on. Let me watch you.
Yeah.
You get more momentum.
So yeah,
You
for us,
got
it's
it.
we're
What
gonna start the
foot do you
spin.
push off with?
2 feet on the ice, and I just want you to use your upper body. You're just gonna sweep the table. Sweep it like this.
Yes.
Keep
Pull
both feet on
in.
the ice.
Close your arms. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Give it a shot. Yeah.
Nice.
You must do a hard one though.
Do you want to try to spin too?
Here, I'm gonna. Oh, that's much better.
Yeah. Dad's going for a spin, so I guess it's time for Abraham to spin. Peter, do you wanna spin him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Abraham?
Do you want to go for a spin?
Can I spin you, buddy?
Okay. All
Grab
right.
hands, both hands, okay? I want you to hold on real tight here, okay? And all I'm gonna do is spin gently, and you're gonna fly in the air.
What do you think?
What do you think? Is that cool?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah? Nice.
Woo.
Going for the splits?
Okay. All right. Do you want to learn how to march?
Oh yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So
You're so good at this, dude.
every single time, I know, right? Are you doing so good? Both want to march together?
Yeah.
Together, yeah.
So I'll hold your hand. There we go. And we're going to march, march, march. Pick up our feet and stomp like we're stomping really loud, right? There we go. Okay, and then we're gonna, as we march and we're stomping really loud, we're gonna take a step forward. So we're gonna go march, and we're marching. You see it? March.
Take your feet
Stomp
up,
your
babe. There you
feet.
go.
Stomp your feet. Yay! Good job, buddy.
What do you think, Mom?
He's gonna be a pro one day.
There we go. Okay. What do you think
Not
about what do you think about doing a trick with him? Do you think you can
Oh,
do
yeah, I
it?
can-
Yeah?
yeah.
You
Okay.
guys trust Steven?
Yeah, I think he's pretty good.
Hang on, I'm gonna get a couple.
You're really good. You're
Hang on,
really
Ash,
good.
ready? This one's for you.
You're trying to show off.
What?
1 foot.
Yep.
He's gonna be down here
Yeah.
doing tricks all the time.
Actually, it's 3 a.m. Stop it.
Let's do a cartwheel with them. You wanna try?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah? Okay.
Okay, ready? Oh.
Are you ready? Are you okay to be flipped, Abe?
Yeah, he's good.
Bring it on.
Yeah? Okay.
You're good.
This,
Yep.
okay?
Yeah?
We do lots of tricks, don't we, Abe?
Yeah?
Oh man.
Ready to go back?
That was
There you go. There you
cool.
go. We're gonna
Yeah, we go the other way.
Oh man, you got me smile. Someone's smiling now. Good job,
Oh
dude.
my goodness. You want
really
Daddy to
good.
do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, ready?
So cross your arms and have both your thumbs pointed down. Yeah, there you
Okay.
go. And now you're set.
Ready, set. Whoa! And back. Ready, set. Whoa! Good job, man. Nice.
Awesome. That was so good.
You are so good at this.
You want to try a dip? Abriel, what you're going to do, you're going to do a really cool ice skating move. You're going to stand here, and then you're going to bend your knees, and you're going to dip, okay?
You can do that.
I think you can do it. So you're
Put
gonna
your feet.
arms out.
Look at Mariah's feet. See how they're a little apart?
Yeah.
And your arms out.
Hold you right here.
Watch. Mariah and Daddy will dip. Ready?
And dip.
Down.
Yeah. You want to do it with your dad? Okay, you guys go front and
Okay.
center.
Here, I have an idea. Look, face Dad. Hold my hands. Put
Okay.
your feet in front of you. Put your hands straight out like Dad's.
Okay.
On the count of 3, we're gonna dip. 1, 2, 3, dip.
Yeah.
Let's try it one more time. All you have to do is bend your knees.
Yeah, leave
Ready?
your skates on the ice,
Leave your skate
okay?
down here and just bend your knees. Ready, set, bend.
Woo!
You did it.
You got it.
Go, Abby. Go, Abby.
Good job. Look at you. You guys got some tricks. We're gonna teach you guys one overhead if you think you can do
Solid.
it. Okay. I feel like we've been seeing a lot of requests for Dirty Dancing,
Yes.
so I'm thinking Dirty Dancing all the way.
You're
Are
right.
you ready?
Turn, face me, baby. There you go. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, down, up.
Big fly.
Kick your legs out. Yeah, dude. It's going.
That was amazing.
Good job.
Just hold this hand.
I'm out.
Ready? Out. Up. And back.
Give it for April and his dad.
Yes.
One of our favorite questions to ask everyone is, how did you guys meet?
Steven, did you have time to prepare an elaborate story?
Yeah, when we saw each other across the club.
That's as elaborate as you
clubbing.
got.
I couldn't think of anything better than that. So Tinder just sounded kind of boring, but it was Tinder.
It was very shallow on Tinder.
Very Tinder.
Tinder.
She saw me and she,
First
she
swipe
swiped
left.
right. I swiped wrong or left.
No, you swiped right. I swiped left, and then I ended up getting back on Tinder a month later, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll swipe right.
Did
But
you really?
No, really, really. But in my defense, I only swiped left the first time because I was like, we see each other downtown, and I thought it would be awkward if he's like,
Oh, if you
she has a
match.
crush on me, or like, or what if he didn't swipe right to me? You know what I mean? I was like afraid that
But
he
he
wasn't
wouldn't
gonna like me
know
back.
if
I
you
know.
swiped right.
I thought about that like actually a month ago. I was like, you wouldn't have even known if I would have, but I would have been embarrassed, right? That it wasn't a
What was
match.
the history there? So you already saw each other in person before matching on Tinder, or
Yeah, like he was a club rat and I was like
Whoa.
21.
I did a thing we like to refer to as a sympathy swipe. Now, what that is,
Then did you sympathy message me first?
Oh, she got you
I
there.
kind of put the simp in sympathy, but,
But
it's
also
whatever.
like you kind of catfish, right? Because when you see someone at a club, it's like dark.
it's those lights. Yeah,
Right,
the
so you,
smoke
like,
show, yeah.
Think that they look so like good and fit and
She
all
couldn't
these
see
things.
my abs at the club though. So
And
she had to
his-
go on Tinder to
His
see them.
Tinder profile, like he was so in shape and all these. And then after 2 weeks of him begging me to hang out, I'm like, whatever, just come over to my apartment. I know, super safe. And I was like, wow, you do not look the same.
You don't invite
In the
every guy
lights.
over your
He was a
apartment
10
right
on
away?
Tinder,
Wow.
but a 12 on in person, right? That's what happened.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I meant.
Yep.
You guys met on Tinder,
Yeah.
and you obviously had to match. You obviously reached out multiple times, and then Ashley finally agreed to go on a date with you. And once you guys went on a date, how did you guys go from dating to now you are married?
Our date was Cinco de Mayo, and he came over. I was a nurse at a long-term care facility at the time, and I had just got off at 10 p.m. And I was like, you know what? I don't even care what I look like. Usually for like a date, I'd be like, I'm gonna put my makeup on. No, I had like leggings, a sweatshirt, my hair was still wet, and he came over and was like, let's just watch a movie. And I think it was We're the Millers, and we talked the whole time, and it was like we were best friends forever.
Yeah, I friend zoned her, yeah. After seeing her like that, yeah. So it was
You
good though.
friend zone me.
It was good.
I think it checks out. You played hard to get, and he returned the favor. Friends,
Right.
That's it. It's only fair.
No, really. I was like, okay, you worked so hard to hang out with me for 2 weeks. And then he stayed until 6 in the morning, like nothing happened. But we just literally talked all night. And then he never even texted me the next day. And I was like, what the heck?
I had a phone card, like the phone plan that you got to buy the card and it expired. So
Oh,
Did you
really?
no, I was just trying to think of a reason for not texting you. So yeah,
You're the worst.
I don't know why I didn't text you back. But anyways, the rest is history. And yep, she won. So she won.
She won the
That's
jackpot.
it.
Yep.
Shortly after you guys met, you went on a mission though, right? So how long were you gone? What happened?
Don't laugh. I went over the
Sorry.
Philippines for a month, and I left my business to be ran, my rental property business to be ran by someone else, and they definitely didn't. They did run it into the ground, and so I had to come home. Mortgages weren't being paid, and I had to figure out why. And yeah, it was very stressful.
Yeah.
So to say the least, I guess.
So then how did you and Ashley come back together once you left during that month?
He did this thing. It's called the like fake I love you before you leave thing. It's where you tell someone I love you before you leave, but you don't actually mean it, right? You're just like baiting them along.
It worked. I don't know.
It was like an iconic I love you though.
Oh, was it? What did
The
he
first
do?
one was
like-
a panic I love you because we were in a club and this girl was like, oh my gosh, I talked to, like she pulled you aside and she's like, I talked to your man or something.
She's like, don't date him. Like, and I was like, why? And she's like, we talk on Tinder all the time. And I'm like,
Yeah, stay in your
whoa,
lane. Yeah.
news to me. Like, Steven, what is happening? And Steven's sister was out with us at this time too. And
I
she's
didn't
like,
talk to her. I'm like, no, like that didn't happen.
sure it didn't. But anyways, so the iconic I love you was like, Steven, I'm leaving. I don't need this drama. And then outside of the bar, he like pushes me up against the wall and was like, no, not like a harassment.
Slammed her up.
It was
No,
like a cute. It was like a cute like
One of those
no.
romance novels.
Yeah.
Yes, like
Yeah.
I love you. I would never talk to someone else. Kiss. It was fake. Yeah, he wasn't in love with me, but it's okay.
I kind of mumbled the ish. I'm like, I love you, ish. And, yep. And then like a week later, we're at a kickball tournament.
And people
And
were
people
yelling.
like, hey, there's the Tinder guy. And
I
I'm
was
like,
like, what? It's
what's
my
going on?
nightmare.
Man? And so I don't know. And then come to find out, it was like they were using my picture on Tinder for like an ad, and I didn't know about it.
Oh.
And then recently,
Well-
what happened recently with Tinder?
Oh, someone had a fake Tinder account like in the UK of him, and his name was
Like Sebastian or something crazy.
no, it was
yeah.
like something funny.
And
Anyways,
they
people
weren't
were
even. I was mad because they weren't even good pictures of me. I'm like, if I was gonna
yeah,
make
they
a
were,
fake
like,
one, I'd do way
screenshots
better.
of like a TikTok.
Yeah. So and one of our followers sent it to us like a messenger, and we're like, dude, this is amazing. And so
I wonder if they got the pictures from your famous birthdays profile.
famous birthday profile,
Ooh, don't bring up famous birthdays with him. Oh my god.
kind of a big deal.
You wish it was a big deal.
So how did you guys get into social media? How did you become so famous, Steven?
Well,
You're a local celebrity in Iowa.
He wishes he was famous.
I'm number 3, in Cedar Rapids, so it's whatever. And Ashley's
Out of
number like
100 people.
6 or 7 or 8, so I'm pretty much twice as more famous as her. So yeah.
Someone humble this man, please.
Yeah, so she kind of, like I said earlier when I said she won, she did. So
So anyways.
that's a terrible question. You didn't tell us you're asking that question. So how'd you guys become so famous? I'm like, I didn't know we were, but
No, we
Sounds good.
started social media kind of on accident. Well, okay, that's false. I wanted to be a fashion blogger for like 2 years. I thought it was gonna be so easy, right? You see all these like fashion bloggers with their cute outfits. Okay, I live in Iowa. The fashion is like a year behind, right? So nothing is actually cute. And Facetune was so popular at the time. So like if you scroll back, those fashion photos are still up and embarrassing.
her fits
But-
were very 2000 and late. That's bad.
Isn't that Fergie?
Yeah, it's bad. I'm just like, huh.
So then like COVID happened and Steven's like on TikTok all the time. And I was like, Steven, why are you on TikTok? That is for middle schoolers. Please
Ashley
get
goes-
off of TikTok.
I said, just make a TikTok profile, like start a page. And she goes, no, TikTok is just for girls jumping around in bikinis. And I'm like, that's just my algorithm. Don't judge me on that. It has a lot of stuff on there. So
So I was like, please get off TikTok. Why are you on there? He's like, no, we really need to start a TikTok. So literally for all of 2020, I was like, no, we're not. So then in 2021, he made this like rap parody Christmas edition to WAP.
come on.
And it was so funny. I had to like make a TikTok page specifically to post it. no one cared
We
about it.
recorded down here in Arizona.
But did not do well. So then we like posted like a couple other videos, and he's like, you know, just post like family videos. So January of 2021, posted a few family videos that kind of just took off, and then it was more fun than Instagram because I was actually getting views on random things without even knowing that it would take off. And so eventually, you know, like months and months down the road, we switched my Instagram to a family account, and it's been family ever since.
And what she's not going to talk about is the one video called, people refer to it as the stanky leg video. And she's doing this dance, and we were in Chicago, and she was all mad because people were like clowning on her. And it was, before she was going to bed, it had like 600,000 views. And I was like, this is
started
crazy.
crying.
She was
I
getting
was
so
so
upset. And I'm like,
embarrassed.
just leave it on there. Next day, it had like over 1 million views, and we weren't big at the time. And so, yeah, and people started stitching it and everything else. And so I'm like,
You
all
were
right.
doing the stanky leg.
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to be a stanky leg. It
That's
just
what they called it, though.
kind of looked like it. And they're like, is her leg broken? And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the most embarrassing thing. But
So, yeah. So the rest is kind of after that video. I'm like, okay, we can decide to either like roll with it or just like shut our account down and not receive all the hate.
yeah,
And so
then
we're
we
like,
had
yeah,
to
just
start
roll with
trolling
it.
back.
So,
Yeah. Anyways.
So
So something that I think a lot of people always wonder about you guys is, had you adopted Abe prior to starting social media?
Yes. So, okay. I
Yeah,
have
a
to
while
like chime in on this. I know. He's like, you always take over. So, we did not have, well, like I had my like fashion Instagram that had less than 10,000 followers at the time. But we were going through the adoption process. Why are you laughing?
you bought your followers. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, giveaways were big at the time.
When
Do you know how many?
she was slowly building
Do you
up.
know
I'm
how
like,
many 45 like dollar Louis Vuitton giveaways I would enter? I didn't even own a Louis Vuitton, but here I am, like, here, take my money, because I knew it would gain me like a couple hundred followers, right?
Yeah.
That was giveaways were
that's what
huge
she was
at that
spending
time.
like all her money on when she had like, you know, between 1,500 and 10,000 followers. She was like trying to build. Yeah.
gosh. Okay,
And
that's so
turns out the
embarrassing.
whole time, the success was under her nose. It was right here. And so if she would just
Okay.
added me to her
That's it,
page,
that's it,
she would
yeah.
have saved that money.
Funny.
So.
Okay, so at the time I just had like that Instagram, and then we had Facebook, right? So we announced we were adopting on Facebook, and my niece had taken our adoption announcement and posted it to Twitter. We didn't have Twitter. I think we have like a Happily Evans After Twitter that I've tweeted on maybe twice. But we didn't have Twitter at the time. And it like went viral on Twitter, viral like 100,000. So
Yeah,
to
that's
us that was viral,
awesome.
like that was huge,
Yeah.
right? And that was like the first time we ever started seeing like social media hate and people calling us like child stealers, and like this whole like other world of like anti-adoption opened up because we weren't familiar, you know, we didn't know
That
all the ins
people
and outs.
would adopt with ill intentions. We didn't know
Right.
that people actually did that. And so, yeah.
or that they
people
didn't
grouped us with them.
acknowledge
Yeah.
like trauma that comes with adoption, all these things that you learn, right, as you go through an adoption process. And so we're just like getting all this backlash. So when Abe was born, again, still didn't have a big following, didn't have like TikTok or anything like that. I did not want to post him because I was so afraid that people were going to come for me again. Like they were going to find me from this like Twitter post months prior. And so like I would occasionally post like a cute family photo or like something, but it had nothing to do with Abriel until he was like 1. Maybe I started posting him a little more in
Right.
family pictures, but so he was born in 2019 and we didn't even start our TikTok or anything until 2021. So really before that I was still trying to do the fashion thing.
It was like towards the end of COVID. shut
Yeah.
down and everything.
Yeah.
So it had nothing to do, like we did not start a TikTok account because we adopted. We did not adopt to start a social media platform. Like we tried so hard to actually keep him off the first like year of his life. So even if you scroll back, you'll see the really embarrassing fashion photos and maybe a couple photos of Abe sprinkled in there with us.
Prior to your adoption, you guys both dealt with infertility for 6 years, right?
Yeah. Well, 3 years before we adopted.
Okay.
And then Abe is now 4 for this
Okay.
baby. So, I mean, after Abe was born, we quit trying, but we didn't like prevent it, right? So 3 years of like actively trying.
Wow. So
I put out for 3 years, what she means.
So what was the turning point for you guys?
You cannot see like your physician at our age. It was recommended like you don't go in for infertility until like a year, right? A year of trying. So directly at that year of trying is when we went in. My mom had had a ton of miscarriages. had trouble getting pregnant, was on Clomid, stuff like that. So I kind of like always had this sense in the back of my mind that I'm going to be the one sibling that like has issues. And so finally we went in and we were broke, like
Financially.
And
our hearts too, but we're also
we had like no money. I was a nurse, and in Iowa, nursing is already the like least paying state for nurses, and I only worked like
I was just gonna say
4 days a week.
Yeah,
Shush.
if she worked full time, maybe. But
I think at the time I was making like $18 an hour.
Yep.
And you were trying to build our rental property business. So like all of our money is like tied up into these investments, and we already could barely like afford our bills, right? And so our insurance at the time, even though I was a nurse, for my insurance was horrendous. As soon as they coded it infertility, I had to pay everything out of pocket, every doctor's appointment, all the meds. If they wanted to do like a bunch of testing, it was all out of pocket. And I was like, okay, we really need to be strategic in what we pick and choose. So we said, let's start with Clomid. It was the cheapest route at the time. And even that was expensive because you have to go in for blood tests. Each blood test is like $300, and we're already struggling. And so it was a hard option. I was like, we don't have all this money to do a bunch of tests. We could do like the basic ones. So they found out that I wasn't ovulating without taking Clomid. So we did 3 rounds of Clomid, and they said like in whatever span of years, I can only do 6 rounds. And I was like, well, I don't want to waste all 3 rounds. So then Steven, they did like some sperm analysis, and they all came back the same. You want to tell them your issue?
it's low mobility and low count.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And they said like most men have 25 million sperm count, and he had like less than 5 million.
Yeah.
And so he went to the urologist and made a ton of inappropriate urologist jokes.
They were funny though. Just so, in my defense, they were funny.
He was working out those dad jokes. That's what he
Yeah,
was doing.
yeah.
And so the urologist was actually the one who was basically like super blunt and said, you know, if you want to get your sperm count up, you need to do surgery. Like we need to like widen the veins, all this stuff. There's no guarantee. But if you don't do surgery, basically your chances of ever conceiving naturally are like, no, it's probably not going to happen. He
And
said,
I always wanted to be a dad, so I'm like,
Yeah.
do it. Whatever you gotta do, just do it, you know. And but then we found out it was both of our bodies, and so we're like, okay, even if I did do it, it wouldn't be for a for sure thing.
Right.
So
So it was kind of like, okay, do we put all this money into treatment? Like, do we do IVF, which is IVF is unaffordable, adoption's unaffordable. Like, you have to kind of pick your poison. And so we just kind of waited a little bit. And then like everyone's announcing their pregnancies, right? Like when you're going through infertility, your friends are getting pregnant, your siblings are getting pregnant, the doctor I worked for was pregnant. Like everyone around us seemed like they were getting pregnant. And when my brother announced that they were pregnant, I lost it. Not because I wasn't happy for them, but I'm like, I need to do something. Like this is too depressing. Like we need to figure out a solution. So Steven's like, you know, we had always wanted to adopt. Ever since we met, we had both like had it in our goals to adopt in the future.
when we first met, even like maybe the first night we even hung out. You remember I said we talked till 6 a.m. I always said, you know, I want 3 kids and want to adopt a kid. And she was always like, I want 4 kids and adopt a kid. I'm like, 5 kids is kind of a lot. So how about 3 kids and adopt a kid? So, and now after having Abe, we're like, 2 is going to be plenty. Like I'm even good with 1, but 2 is good.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
where
a
we're
lot
at.
of work. Yeah, it's so much more work than you'd think. So
Yeah, so we basically were like, we've always wanted to adopt. Let's go that route instead of spending money, you know, on IVF that could also fail and all these things. Like, let's just do that. And then Steven wanted us to save money, but I wanted to get it started. So the next day I'm like looking
we compromised and did what Ashley wanted. You know how that works.
married.
It's wild to me. I don't think, well, maybe if you've never looked into it, the expense of adoption, because a lot of people talk about the expense of IVF, but I
Yeah.
don't think many people talk about the expense of adoption.
Yeah.
So when you guys started looking into it, were you surprised?
It's lawyer fees. It's insane.
Yeah. Well, we knew it was expensive. So my sister had adopted my nephew. My aunt had adopted my cousin. We had friends that had been adopted. Like we had a lot of adoption around us. Our neighbors were like foster parents going through like an adoption process. And we knew it was going to be expensive. And a lot of people say, well, there's so many kids in the foster care system. Why don't you adopt through that? But the foster care system is designed for reunification. It's not meant for adoption.
Okay.
You can adopt through the foster care system, but really you are providing a home for kiddos who need it so that their parents can
Get
get
them
back
back,
on
yeah.
track and then they can have their family. And at the time with all the loss already, I was like, I'm not ready to like love a child and then have to say goodbye.
And also for like a few years before we were trying and everything, she wanted to like foster animals. And I'm like, I said no, because you will never give the animals back. Like, I know how you work, and it's never happening.
So we knew it was expensive. Obviously, we didn't know like what the most expensive things are, but there's like a lot of agencies, and people will say like adoption is a for-profit.
Oh.
And it 100% is. Adoption is for profit in the United States. It's an industry
like
that
billions
makes
every year.
multi-billions of
It's
dollars,
crazy.
right? Not all agencies are for the kiddos. Not all agencies are going to do what's right for the birth family involved. It's literally for profit. And we found that like even in one of the agency interviews we did, and Steven had happened to say like, well, you know, here's all the fees. What happens if like we accidentally got pregnant? And they said, you forfeit all that money and you start over. And that like right there just shows you don't actually, you know what I mean? Like you are
Right.
in this for the money.
Right. Yeah.
Not all agencies are like that. I mean, we've met some great people, some great agency owners over the years of just even doing social media. So adoption is for sure a for-profit industry and the fees are crazy. We were signed with an agency. We didn't actually adopt Abriel out of an agency. We just forfeited the money with the agency, had met him through our legal team. But yeah, it's
And then had to refinance my work truck.
max out some credit
Oh,
cards.
really?
but-
Credit cards.
Be
We're
able
still
to-
paying off the work truck. Yeah.
Wow.
So luckily we had that paid off because at the time, you know, we're literally paycheck to paycheck. And so it was what total, like $36,000, something like that
Yeah.
total. And it was just a,
Which is actually on the cheaper side because
Yeah.
we
Cheaper. Oh my gosh.
yeah, well because
we didn't use,
the agency
agency,
that
yeah.
we went through, we're like, hey, we don't have $18,000 up front to give you. And they said, well, we can do a payment plan. So literally we made like a $6,000 payment that was gifted from my mom at the time. Thankfully, we have an amazing family. Shout out to my mom. We owe you still.
a
We're
lot of
still
money.
paying you back. But they said, okay, we'll do this payment plan. After that first payment was kind of like, I mean, a few months later, before the other payment was due, is when we matched with Abriel's birth family. And so the adoption company or agency was like, we'll just put it on hold for 3 years. And then if you open it up, you can pay the rest of what you owe. And if
like
not, then you
freeze it or
just
whatever. That's what they call it.
forfeit. So they got free $6,000.
I don't think they should. I don't
but-
think you should forfeit. I think they should pick a family and let it go towards another
That's,
family's
that's
adoption.
actually a
Forward,
really
yeah.
good idea.
That is
Pay it
really
forward.
Redirect it because there's other people that want to adopt.
That's a
and
really
don't
good
know
And
how.
can't afford it.
Well, I just wanted to say real quick, like, you know, through all those hoops and hurdles that you guys did, you know, like love makes you do incredible things, crazy
Yeah.
things and incredible
Yeah.
things.
Like get married.
So I also wanted to ask you, because I know that that's another hot topic on you guys' page about Abriel being black. Like when
Yeah.
you guys were filling out all of your information, what did you fill out and how did you guys match
Yeah.
with his family?
I'm sorry. I feel bad because I talk so much, but
You're like, I want to
We
take
said
this
we
one.
only want a kid named Abriel, and he has to.
no,
We said we'll
we don't
take
care.
anything. You can select, and this sounds terrible. It's almost like ordering something online. It's you get to pick what hair color, what eye color, what they can switch all these different things. It's crazy to be matched exactly. And we
Yeah.
said, so if a kid came out and it didn't look how you wanted it, you could like walk away and said absolutely. We're like,
Which is
who would
crazy.
do
Who would do
that?
that,
You
right?
know, but
No.
we said we want anything, and we
had
just wanna
no
be parents.
preference.
No preference, and also you can choose if the kid has like a disability. Where we understand where some families feel like they're not able to give the time that it takes for
Yeah.
that. But we said we have no preference whatsoever. And somehow I don't understand this, but they say you can choose what you want the baby's religion to be. I'm like,
Well,
I don't really
like
who
my
knows,
family
but-
overseas, who's predominantly Muslim, obviously.
yeah.
Other Muslim families will probably choose, and that's not always the case, but I can kind of see it, right? Like, if you adopt someone who's from a certain religion, then their family will want them to grow up with that same
Right.
faith. So,
okay, yeah.
but yeah,
And then
even
people will also give us a hard time. They'll say, "Oh, you chose a black kid because they're cheaper to adopt." And we said, "Ashley and I had to like
We didn't
Google
even
this.
know
We're
that
like,
was a
what is
thing.
this?" And turns out they have some research on that. We're like, "Okay, we had no idea that was even
No
a thing."
clue.
And so
yeah, we were just
Yeah.
open. We didn't care if a baby was going to be born with drug addictions, disabilities, boy, girl. We just said, whatever baby is intended for us is the baby that we want to take in. So
Oh, and then you guys got Abe, who
And
is
then
so adorable.
He's the best.
the
He's
smartest
so
kid I've
adorable.
ever met.
Now you guys are a happy family and you're on social media and you're getting all of these people who are coming into your journey at so many different times.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's wild when people come in, you know, halfway through your journey and you guys are already successful online. They've already decided kind of who you guys are, how Abe came into the picture. And one comment that I see that happens very common is about his hair.
Oh my
So how do you deal with those comments, for one? And also, I've seen you like learn how to do his hair and take him to go get braids and all these different things. So it seems like you guys really are trying to help him embrace his curls.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm just there to comfort him and let Ashley take over. So
Literally, if I need a distraction while I'm trying to do Abe's hair, Steven will come in with like the most random. Just one time, you came in with like snow.
oh yeah, let him play with snow like while he's sitting there getting his hair done. But Ashley, I'll just be honest, like I'll give her all the credit as far as doing his hair because I don't. So
Well,
she does it all.
My nephew, who was adopted from Ethiopia, like I always remember, I was a lot younger, right? And my sister had so much like learning to do and like from different people who like stylists that she would take him to. And his hair is totally different from Abe's, but I knew going into it that like, okay, this is going to be like a whole learning process. And people online, I think they forget that Abriel's a toddler. I can literally make sure all his curls are like perfectly intact. And he's gonna go play for 5 minutes, and it's not gonna be. He'll
All
like
that work.
yeah, all of it. I'm like, I cannot make sure he's camera ready all the time.
Yeah.
But also, that's not real life.
No,
right?
it's not. No.
It's not, and I don't want to put this like fake. We have the perfect life, like the perfect child. No, he plays.
Yeah.
I may be
toddler.
responsible for why it's messy. half the time.
Literally, you guys.
WWE
wrestle-
headlocks and
even
yeah.
with his braids, it is very rare that we can keep them nice like for 2 full weeks because he's like rolling around and playing with them and pulling his caps off at night and like all the things. But I mean, he's a little kid. We want him to play. We want him to have fun. We do definitely try as hard as we can to make sure his hair is perfectly healthy. The first time we got it braided, which we waited for him to say like, Mom, I want braids, because he saw other little kids with braids and he was so excited, and he sits so perfectly still,
does.
loves it so much, like cries when it's time to take him out because he just loves them. But I was so afraid that the stylist was going to say like that I did something wrong with his hair. And it was the most reassuring appointment I've ever had. She always tells me like how healthy his hair is, how I've done such a great job. And she'll say like, I don't even need to tell you a product to get because I can tell like you've already done your research. And so
Yeah.
that was like the biggest compliment, especially because sometimes those like negative comments, even if you have the toughest skin in the world, they get to you and then you like second guess yourself.
Ashley never reads the comments. I read
try
them,
not
and then
to.
I'll be like,
It's too
"You see
hard
this one?" She
sometimes.
gets messages. Don't read them. I don't read them to you
I
on purpose.
can't.
And so,
Yeah. So, I mean, I definitely feel like you guys get it from so many different angles. Like,
Right.
it's not just, you
And
know.
one person will tell you one thing, and then someone will tell you, "Nope, that's wrong. Here's another thing." Like, and it's
Yeah.
all. So we try to listen to the advice we can, but at the same time,
Yeah.
you're not going to make everyone happy. And we've realized that.
I try to like
so-
go back and reply to like the first 20 minutes of comments or something, but because those are your like loyal followers that are seeing it first, right? And like those are the people that support you. But as soon as if a video starts going viral or taking off, I'm like, there must be something in that comment section that like is making this happen, and I just can't mentally handle reading it, so I don't.
Yeah. And Abe has had his hair cut, so he sat on my lap the whole time for it. And so everyone's like, "Hey, cut his hair." We have before,
Yeah,
but
multiple times.
yeah, but now since it still kind of grows a little uneven.
Yeah.
And so it's
Actually, at his last braid appointment, I said, "When do you think I should trim it again?" And she just said, "I would wait just a little bit longer. I'll tell you when." And then we
and
just
they
kinda
add
go from
hair
there.
in the spots where he needs it to make it all
Yeah.
even when they
And
braid.
so that it doesn't like pull too
Yeah.
tight, because right, like we want his hair to grow, we don't want it to get damaged. So she's been super great as far as like educating us too on braids, because we didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
So when I was like, "Are you sure you're supposed to add hair to a boys' braids, and
Oh,
she's like,
yeah.
yeah, we just want to make sure it doesn't have too much tension in certain areas. And
Abriel knows more about his hair than I do because he'll come up like, here, Dad, you got to put this oil in. I'm like, okay. He goes, no, you do it like this. I'm like, okay. Like he knows a lot about it.
or
So
he'll
it's,
tell people, don't
watches-
touch my braid.
Yeah, that's
all the time he
Personal
tells
space.
people, yeah,
Yeah.
So yep.
So Aiden, I mean, he has a completely different texture of hair, but
Yeah.
he's the same. I do his hair.
Yeah.
I put some products in it. It looks cute. The curls are
Yes.
popping. And then he goes to play. Not once has anyone told me that his hair
Right.
looks rough. So I definitely feel like, especially within our community, hair is it's a sensitive topic. Even people, you know, their own hair, like they're almost like projecting, like in a sense, to be like, well, I wouldn't have my kid walking around like that. But sometimes with kids, their hair gets messed up. Like it's
Right.
so
Yeah.
normal. So I think you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
You take
Thank you.
wonderful care of him and his hair, and
Aw,
he's
thank
so
you.
happy. Like I wish like more people could like see you guys in real life and like know like how happy he is.
It's not just for show. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's so happy and like well taken care of and loved, and I think
Well, thank you.
It's the teamwork for me.
Makes the dream work.
yeah. So I want to ask about you guys' pregnancy. How
Congratulations.
exciting was
Thank you.
that?
She's getting big.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Tell him about like you wanted me to take a test and I like did not want to at all.
I don't even remember. It was such a blur. It was on the day of like.
I remember it so
We went
well.
to another wedding and it was just wild because we weren't so we've had so many failed pregnancy tests like in the past, and so it's been years, and every time she'll like miss her period because she has like an off cycle.
Oh
if
my
you
gosh,
will.
it's so not like normal.
Not steady, not regular. And so we figured another situation like that, and I said, no, just take it. She didn't want to, and I said, all right.
Did you just like have a feeling or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And I said, all right, here's the deal. You take it. And then I said, if I go buy it, because she didn't want to go and buy it. She didn't want to like go there. And I said, okay, if I go get you one, you have to take it, but only I get to see it then. I'm not even going to let you see it because you don't want to see it. You didn't even want to take the test. She's like, fine. I'm like, okay.
She'll eventually find out if she is pregnant.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
So he goes
So I
to
went to
Walgreens.
Walgreens, and I don't know if you guys know this yet, but I am cheap. If I haven't mentioned that like 20 times. So I got the cheapest one I could find, and it's like the plus minus. And
And
all.
you went to
I'm-
Walgreens? You didn't go to the Dollar Tree?
if they would have had them,
Right?
if they would have had them, I would. Do they have
They
them?
have them.
do have 'em.
Dude, I feel ripped off now. What's the return policy? They've been
Slightly
used.
used, yeah.
And so I went in and got them, went home, and said, here, take this bad boy. And she did. And I was gonna look at the results. I could not read the results. I'm like, okay. And so we film like our lives because it's what we do for a living, and just as you guys know. And so I said, okay,
I
give me this
told
cup
him he
of
wasn't
pee.
going to be able to read it.
Yeah.
I said, "You're no offense, Steven, but you are going to be confused as soon as you look at that. Like, even if it's so clearly negative, you needed someone to spell it out for you."
If they had the pregnancy test like in the Audible though, I could read it then because I only read books in Audible. But anyways, so I ended up I took the cup of pee back to the store with me. Everyone, when I did the pregnancy test second time, like when I did the pregnancy test, when I did your pregnancy test second time, everyone said, how'd you just drive around with a cup of pee in a car? Yeah, I did. Because Walgreens is a block
Right
away.
next to the
so-
apple juice, right? In the cup holder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, everyone knows that. So I went down there and got the more expensive one. That ended up costing me more because I had to buy the other ones and those ones. So
Did you buy the one that says like pregnant,
Yeah.
not pregnant? Yeah.
yep. And so I did that and found out, and
in the car.
That was your video in the car.
The video
Yeah.
of him sobbing in the car.
it's crazy. Just because I didn't I couldn't believe it. Like I kind of had a weird feeling, but at the same time, like I'm like, okay, there's a bunch of other times that we've set up the camera to do a pregnancy test, and it's came back negative. And so we obviously you don't post all those videos because
Right.
you're waiting for that one. If
Yeah.
it does, amazing. So, yeah, it took, and I couldn't believe it. And we went back home, and I showed Abe. And Abe didn't fully understand. And so I said, here, he's over by the freezers asking if he can have food. And I said,
And he
here.
had been asking for a popsicle all morning.
Yeah.
So I thought Steven was like handing him a popsicle to bring me.
Yeah, and I know a lot of like videos out there it's hard to set up a camera if you're an influencer, as you know, like a content creator. It's hard to set up a camera and not have your spouse see the camera. And so
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
okay, so it's really bad filming. So I have like the camera down here by my side, but I wanted to get something on tape, and so I handed it to Abe, and he like handed it to Ash, and yeah, she lost it too, and it was just kind of crazy, an amazing,
Yeah.
amazing feeling. So,
But going back to like taking the test, Steven, for you, like you said, like you guys filmed it so many times and like it was always negative. Like, did you have in your moments leading up to, I don't know, dipping the stick in that cup, basically? Did you have your guard up, basically, or like,
yeah,
were you
because I
expecting something?
always kind of did. And so and the thing is, usually it's like 1 week late, but then this time it was like 2 weeks, and so I'm like, okay, it's a little longer than normal, and so maybe, and she's also really moody right now, so that might be a while, and so
Things
And
are
I was
adding up,
not
right?
feeling
good intuition,
well.
exactly. I was, connecting the dots. And
Yeah,
so.
and I just kept complaining, like, I just don't feel well today.
Okay,
I just don't feel
I didn't
well
want to say
today.
she was complaining, but she said it. It was her words, not mine. Yeah,
I
she just kept complaining about everything.
Yeah.
It is hard.
Yeah. Pregnancy is hard.
Yes,
Pregnancy
I
is.
was like, okay, I prayed about this for like what? It took 6 years to like have a miracle baby. I mean, after 3 years and after we had Abe, I was content. I said, if we never ever had kids, like we have a family, like we have Abriel, he's like the perfect child.
He's awesome.
But then we were gonna start the gestational carrier process literally within like the next month. So like
We already
not
paid
thinking
for our
anything
first
of it.
appointment, like the setup and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, and so didn't have any high hopes. Like, we were gonna eventually have another baby in our lives one way or another. So, but yeah, I don't remember where I was going with that.
Well, I know you guys
Pregnancy
are
brain.
so excited. You're 31 weeks today, right? How
Yeah.
exciting. Congratulations.
Thank
I'm so
you.
happy for you guys.
you.
And Abe is so excited.
He's so excited.
Yeah, I know a lot of people also ask you about having a baby, and then having Abe, and people ask you about, are you going to be treating the babies differently? But obviously, I mean, I know you guys and you're not. But what's your answer to that?
I just answered this.
I couldn't ever imagine treating like if it's everyone's like, are you scared you're not going to love Abe? I'm like, I'm scared I'm not going to love the new baby as much as I love Abe, because like he's the best, and him and I hang out all the time, and like him and I, we're best friends, and so I'm just like, dude, like this is. And so now Ashley can have her best friend, and that's what she's excited about. But I said, don't worry, I'll win her over.
I'll say,
win her over.
Abriel, who's your best friend? Dad. And then he laughs because he knows I'm going to tickle him. So his answer is always dad. But, no, for us, Abriel's not like our adopted son. Abriel's our son.
Right.
And so to think that anyone, and it does happen, which is sad, right? Which is why people ask. But the amount of times that it's asked, I'm like, clearly these people, like, they only see 5 minutes of our life, but do they not see like the genuine love in these videos?
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's like
Yeah.
so
And we see people out in
apparent, but-
public all the time that come up to us and everything. I'm like, I wish those people would like comment or post or like take a picture and be like, no, they genuinely are like this all the time. Like, because we really
Yeah.
are. And he's like you said earlier, like the happiest kid ever. And
He's
we
so
love
happy.
him. He's the best.
He is
So,
the best.
yeah, he's very smart too.
He's going to be the best big brother, too. So I'm so
Yes.
excited to see those videos and watch him just love on his little sister.
Love on
Yes.
her, try to put her in a headlock, WWE style.
Right, yeah.
I'm working on it.
One of the two. Kind of nervous.
So when you guys wrote a book,
Yes.
that's also very
I
exciting.
wrote a couple chapters,
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
They even let me put my name on the front like I wrote it.
Yeah.
That's cool. So
When does the book come out, and what can people expect to be hearing about in your book?
Okay, I'm so excited for this because this has been like 2 years of like it. The funniest thing is Steven was like, it's always been a dream of mine to like be an author and publish a book, right?
of a kid's book. She didn't ask the
You
details.
weren't specific enough.
I'm like,
Yeah,
where
I'm
where
great at
were
drawing
you all
pictures
the
and-
like chapter edits and chapter edits?
You know what I was in the kitchen making you bacon.
He did. I would
See?
be like editing all these chapters, and he'd be like cooking me food and like feeding me on the couch and playing with it. It was great. It was a team effort. But 2 years of working on this, and it's finally available for pre-order, but it doesn't actually release until I think December 12th is the release date. So tentatively, December 12th is the release date. If something happens, obviously we'll share that. But I'm just so excited for people to see like a glimpse into like our lives before social media, like the struggles that we've went through, and like
People always assume that like it's so easy because they see what they see on film. They don't
Yes,
see what
yeah.
it took to get there. And so this,
you guys
this
have
book
been through a
talks about all
lot.
of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You've
so-
read it.
I read it, so
Yeah.
I don't want to give anything
Yes.
away, but you guys have been through so much, and I feel like it's such an inspiring book. Like I'm
Thank you.
so
Yeah.
excited for it to be released. I'm so excited to hear for you guys to hear the feedback for all of your hard
Yes.
work.
I'm nervous for it, but I'm so excited.
It's
I
just gonna be
really
great.
think it's like the best way to get to know us, like on a truly deeper level. Because again, people only see what they see on social media and only see where we're at now, but they don't see like everything it took to like get to this point. And like, just because you're on social media and a content creator doesn't mean you're like wealthy, making millions of dollars and all the things. So
Yeah, if you follow our Instagram stories, like our day-to-day stuff, like we still do everything normally. Like what did we do before we
just
came
went
here?
thrift shopping for baby girl
clothes.
clothes because I'm like,
They're gonna
I could
grow out of
spend-
them. Like it's hard for us to.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
So we
so-
try to be frugal and be relatable to everyone because we're still like super down to earth.
Yeah.
And,
if we can get a good deal on something, you
Heck yeah.
bet we're gonna go for it.
which is also why it's hard for Ashley to she's very modest. She did a wonderful job, you know, writing this book and stuff. But when they came to us to Fed, you know, to hey, we want to hear your story, and we have people message us all the time like, oh my gosh, you guys inspire us. You have this great, and for us, we're like, we're so boring. We live in Iowa. We don't do it. You know what I mean? But to everyone else, so we love that people love that. But at the same time, like that's why we are so like modest because we don't think we're anything special. And so it's cool that we are able to, you know, help other people and, you know, change other people's lives is you know, when it comes to infertility and adoption and all that stuff. But at the same time, like we're just kind of blown away that these opportunities have been like presented to us. And I don't know.
Yeah, when they first like approached us, I thought it was a scam.
Yeah.
I'm like, stupid. There's no way someone actually genuinely wants us to write a book and people are actually gonna read it. But
Yeah.
And now we have
and now
there
it's
we go.
here.
We have a product. We have a whole
We
product,
do.
whole book.
Whole product. And we had a typo on the first one, so we got the second
Yeah,
one.
I
Right.
think that cover we kept the typo cover on it, but underneath it,
Fairy tile.
fairy
Fairy
tile,
tiles.
which no one noticed until we had 500 copies in hand.
Let's
And then
just
as soon as you posted it, somebody probably was like immediately.
No, literally. Okay, so I thought it was a joke. My mom came over with my brother, and I had showed like the book to like Steven and like a
Not the
couple.
cover.
No, I showed you like the picture of the cover. I even think I sent you guys a photo, like
Oh, yeah,
copy of the
I didn't
cover.
see it.
No one saw this, right?
This is the corrected one right here.
Yes.
great.
So I'm holding this like first copy in my hand. I'm so proud. I'm like, Mom, we finally have the book. She goes, there's a typo.
Oh,
And I was like, funny. She was
I'll-
like, no, really. And I just started sobbing.
Ashley
I'm
calls me
pregnant,
in the
like-
garage. She's crying. And I'm like, what is wrong? And she tells me. I said, well, I was kind of joking. I go, well, it kind of goes with everything else that
know,
like, you do on Instagram stories. She has typos
Very
in
on
every
brand.
post. And so I'm like, people will think it's funny, but she
And
didn't think
people
that was
did
funny.
think it's
and so-
hilarious. But now,
Yeah.
yes,
the
we
pregnancy
have,
hormones were definitely playing an effect.
It just makes it more real for you
It's
guys.
very real. I
Very
know
on
so many
brand.
people were like, I want the typo cover because that's very you. And I'm like, it is.
And our handle, Happily Evans After with 2 R's, that's spelled wrong. See?
Yeah, see?
Two Rs,
It's very on
see?
brand.
we always like to end our episodes with a little bit of advice. And I don't actually have something to read, but I wanted to ask you guys, what would be the best advice that you would give to somebody who is where you were 3 years ago when your brother announced that he was pregnant and you were trying to decide, like, what do I want to do next? What would be the best advice you would give to them?
I would say from my perspective is like, don't ever give up. And I gave up so many times, and like all the tears that I cried and all of the like questioning, like, okay, if there's a God out there, like, why is he putting me through this? Why is he putting people through all the things that he puts people through? And at the time that you're going through something, like, it just feels like the whole world is on your shoulders. But I will always say, like, everything happens for a reason. Had we not gone through that, we wouldn't have Abriel. Like, we wouldn't have this baby on the way. Everything just played out exactly how God intended it to play out. So I don't know. I just have hope. Like, your life is going to work out how it's supposed to. And one day, like, I hope everyone gets to see, like, why, the reason why it took 6 years, the reasons why it took so long for this baby to come. Because when you hold your baby that is intended for you, like, that's the why. I don't know if that made sense.
That was
did.
so
It did.
beautiful. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And mine would be, but God. Like, God, the doors he opened for us when we thought there were no other possibilities, no other chances of us being parents. I mean, everyone can say, oh, there's IVF. And we didn't have any money. So the fact that God provided the resources and everything, like, is like the perfect storm. I mean, it's kind of crazy to, like, we literally give all the glory to God, like where we're at right now in our lives, and just the blessings we've received. You know, every day we just can't believe this is our life. Like, it's it's wonderful. So
Oh,
Yeah.
we love you guys so
love
much.
you
You're
too.
the best.
Thanks for having us.
yes, thank you.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you guys.
Yeah.
We're so happy we got to spend some more days with you and
Thanks for
do
letting
this
us crash here.
podcast
We're
and-
moving here over the winter. I forgot to tell you that.
I can't
I know you said
wait.
anytime, so it's whatever.
Bye.
Bye.